You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby? It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Noza. Wow, what a piece of shit blaming his own son. Okay, that's happening. I guess that's a breakdown of sorts. Nippon Imperial Army, Sergeant Ayase Noza, preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court, sir. You know what? With the mustache, he's like Waluigi now. Do any of you know of the extraordinarily low wages the Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe? I understand that the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflict remains in place. And I have heard it's hard for lower-ranking soldiers to make a living, yes. All I want is but a hot meal on the table for my son. That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant? The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days, I'd go there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time. Sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork even, which is worryingly believable. And your target that day was the old man in his koban. Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief you are. I was all set to leave the steak I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Yes, when the professor was shot. I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. I'd out too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could. On the double. I slipped it into the steak, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. Wait a minute now. Under his own steak, but the steak that was at Dr. Wilson's table had the koban under it. What's up with that? Well, honestly, I guess I can't say as I blame him. Dude's in a bad situation. Desperate times call for desperate measures. This is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time? Well, Miss Brett. Oh, of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. May the esteemed gentlewoman please be excused, Your Excellency? Indeed. The theft of the koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder. Well, of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. Nonsense, is it? Well... As for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Brett, you're free to leave. Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. And good day. You ain't going anywhere. Ryusuke, what's the matter with you? This is no time for daydreaming. Oh, no, it's just... something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. Can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred with me. I feel like there was a contradiction in there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up. Yeah. Let's call an objection right now.
Hold it!
That also worked. Wait, Miss Brett. What is it now? I'm afraid, just one last time, there's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction? What new student nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are you talking about, Ryunosuke? I want to look at something. So this is the steak that supposedly she was eating. And the coin was under this, but clearly, Sergeant Noza said he had a coin under the meat, so I have to conclude that this was actually his steak. So what's it doing over here then? Yes, I'm right. Well, she said there, it's supposed an undeniable contradiction. Let's see. I actually want to say it's the meat itself.
Take that!
The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed. Yes, go on. More accurately, Your Excellency, the steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. Now you're splitting hairs. Not true. Doesn't something about the steak strike you as very unnatural? Unnatural? What on earth do you mean? It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. Ho! I see you've noticed too, Miss Brett. Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself. Then take a good look at this steak, in particular the edge where it's been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks there. Yep. Oh, we're getting there. So, if the witness actually claims wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all. But what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was reminiscent on... Yeah, she doesn't want to hear that. Ho 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 ho! As I said, I really must be leaving now. You're getting real nervous here. Afternoon team with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. Oh, it'll be over. It'll be over all right. Yeah, shut up, dude. I've heard enough. You irritating little spectacled samurai relic. What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She's realized the catastrophic implications these teeth marks in the steak could have for her. I know where he's going with this. Yes, now at last, it's all come together. The mysterious teeth marks in a steak that had allegedly been eaten with cutlery. The reason why the bloodstain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. Let's do it. It's time. It's time for a motherfucking turnabout. Yeah, it tells us everything. Everything? Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase. Typical Japanese empty threats. How can you be so sure? Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Naturally, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Hasn't been? What? But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean the evidence does not exist. As the saying goes, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Or I don't know how much that applies to this case, but whatever. This is absurd! The trial's run several hours already! And you say this evidence needs to be brought forward? There can't be! I don't believe you have it! I don't, but there is someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. Now, if that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case. Hello. Please come forward. The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosonaga. What? I have it. Yes? You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous. No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on this steak with the teeth marks. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Noza told the court the following. I'd enjoyed chomping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting to stealing Koyakuya-san's coin, he told us that he slipped it under the steak. You watch it, cadet. I'm a superior officer who's gonna go to jail. Probably. Well, you're in trouble for sure. Sergeant Noza, could you please confirm something for me? Was the steak you put the coin under, in fact, your own steak? Tension! Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentle lady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it. In other words, the steak that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Noza's meal. But that makes no sense. The plate was taken from the victim's table. Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire. Well then, how do you explain this paradox? Exactly. Sure, you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two states over. I am suggesting that. You did switch the plates? Well, after it happened, when I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my steak and hit the coin underneath it. But then when the waiter announced he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had it. If he decided to investigate my slap of meat, that'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. It was when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. With military precision and timing, I switched my steak with the one on the foreign lady's table. What? You can't have! I never saw you do such a thing! It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done. Oh, it's all come together. However, fear not, Prosecutor-san. What now? I swore on the brass buttons of my uniform. That is all I did, sir. All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant. So Sergeant Noza switched the plates over. It means he took Miss Brett's steak and the plate it was on back to his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Hosonaga? Yes? Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeants. To preserve evidence, you had taken both. Oh, look at her! That's correct. Then please present it to the court now. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot. What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat. I can't have the slightest bearing on the case. No, you're not wriggling your way out of it this time, lady. Ho 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 ho! We got her! We're about to. I beg your pardon? Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why the steak pan promises to prove such a problem for you. No? You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense asked to see that plate was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing. Thanks he remembers. I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson was a clear spattering of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett. Let's do it. Inspector, be a cool dude. Yeah, I can already see it. Sorry for keeping you. There it is! There's the blood. Here's the other steak in its plate. Please, feel free to examine it. The blood stain. It's clearly visible. Look!
Yes.
Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that at the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table, with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim. Ah! It can't be! In fact, there's only one person who could have possibly shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. Ah! That's right. Miss Jezaille Brett. It's you. We finally got her. Outdone? By a Japanese? Me? By a Japanese schoolboy? No, no, no! Yeah, that swan's freaking out. You're done for. Yeah, you ain't going to heaven. You ain't going to heaven just yet. Oh, they're cute. Can I keep them? They could be the court mascots. Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me. Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time. Gladly, Your Excellency. It was I who took the professor's life, using Cure. As you surmised, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. So you planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water. Because Cure is unheard of here in Japan. Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water and it would be all over. I replaced the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone, and leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. That would be me, I suppose. Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment. A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man. I happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of Curare in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt. Under your skirt? Sorry, under you skirt, excuse me, there's a typo. So I was right, there were two guns. Yes. And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Placed where you were sure that I would notice it. Everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I'd intended. And then, just as you bent down to pick it up, that's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point, he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared. Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside. That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor in his chair around. Because, of course, you need to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he'd picked up the gun. And that is the truth of what happened. So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. Murder's not a misdemeanor, lady. It's like a felony. At least, anyway. Your Excellency? Yes? I wonder. Might I speak with you in private later? You're not gonna kill him, are you? I shall call on you. Thank you. Good day then, everyone. Why did she kill Professor Wilson? I'm curious about that. Spoiler, you don't ever actually find out in this game. I don't know if that ever comes up. I don't know if this ever comes up in the second game. I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san. Yeah, take one last bow. It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement? This can't be! Takatsuchi Aochi does not lose! Not to let this rookie student! You'd better start getting used to tough opposition. This insult to the Aochi family name will never be forgotten! You've become conceited with age, Council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. What'd you just do? Ha! 1,000 millennia may pass, and still, the Aochi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan. This trial in the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, Yu Ryunosuke Naruhodo presented an excellent case. Thank you, Your Excellency. The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. But the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits, but what will it look like, I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Cosmo Asagi? Yes? After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can. Absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. Mission, huh? I understand, Your Excellency. What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Never mind. I see your Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Oh, yes? In you I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards. Thank you, Your Excellency. It's time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant Ryunosuke. I've been saying that, I've been saying his name a lot, and I guarantee I've been saying it wrong this whole time. Oh well, either way, he's not guilty. Look at Ouchie over there, still in shock. Yeah, guess what, your ancestors are gonna have to deal with that too. And by that, I mean losing. Well, there we are. I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happened. I made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial. Ryunosuke, you finally pulled it off. Congratulations. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma. No, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. So, you owe me an extra large sukiyaki from the place on Yume University Street. Don't forget. Good afternoon. All your hard work has certainly paid off. I'm assuming that's the professor. No, that was her. Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruhodo-san's innocence. No, trusty judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know. Oh no, I didn't do anything. Thank you so much! If we hadn't had that research report, Miss Brett's, I don't know how things would have turned out. Your kind words should really be from my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate. Your father? Oh yes, of course. Yeah, we saw that. Yes. Well, speaking of Mikotoba... Ah, there you are. And I believe congratulations are in order. Naruhodo, you did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. No, it is I should be thanking you, after all. Your efforts exposed the true criminal that took the life of my good friend. Good friend? Oh yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yume University, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. Professor Mikotoba studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably that's when you met Dr. Wilson? Exactly. And in those days, we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you worked together? I've never heard you mention that before. Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides, it's your turn, Asagi. Great Britain is a magnificent country that leads the world. In science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot. I will. I'll learn all that I can. I swear on this, the spirit of the Asagi clan. You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you? Of course I am. That Japanese man's katana has his soul. This blade shows me where I need to go. It cuts down anything that's in my way. Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes. That reminds me, what's happened to the woman? To Jezaille Brett, I mean. After all, she's guilty of murder. Oh yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's the true culprit, after all. She will be leaving Japan in the very near future. For Shanghai. What? Shanghai? Jezaille Brett will not appear in court again in this country. I'm certain of that. What? But why not? It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Who's saying that now? Oh, hi. Inspector Hosonaga. It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. I must congratulate... But what's all this about consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? But then, who? Who's going to bring her to justice? A British consular court will hear her case. Somewhere far away, where our voices can't be heard. But why a consular court? I don't know what consular court is. Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now that we signed the Friendship Treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right. Then, so long as this is not a serious incident of a highly political nature respected to our respective governments. They can't invoke a consular court just like that. Oh, can't they? Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify our governments making secret agreements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. So Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan? I'm afraid for that for the young student. Today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her. I don't believe it. The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. But it's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil, this new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. Yes, change is coming, and we're the ones driving it. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. But Professor... You're right, this is no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Ryunosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun. In that case, might I suggest Le Carnival? As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. You're Detective Hosonaga-san, aren't you? Let's not worry about details for now. To Le Carnival, will you accompany us, Professor? I'm not sure Ryunosuke wants to eat at the restaurant where he was accused of a murder. Of course, Le Carnival's food is second to none. I should go and attend to the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release. And we'll see you later. So Jezaille Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Kazuma? Yes, Ryunosuke? I just wanted to say thanks again. That's all. You really saved my skin today. I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? That defense was all your own work. Your skills made the difference, though. One day, I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world. I'm not so sure about that. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me. What? Come on, be serious. If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for it. For being a defense lawyer, I mean. Oh no, not me! All that tense verbal combat? I never wanted to go through that ever again. I did what you told me to do, that's all. Because I knew I could trust you. That's the point. Sorry? What do you mean, that's the point? Listen, Ryunosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win? Knowledge of the law? No. The ability to believe. To believe? To believe what? A defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times. Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it. I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have to make a choice about what to believe in and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful to what you chose to believe in even then? No, that's not something that anyone could do. It's a special kind of person. Believing in your client. Let's look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stopped believing in me. Well, you face seemingly hopeless situations time and again, but you never stopped looking for the truth, and in the end, you found it, through your own efforts, and because you never stopped believing in me. Thanks, Kazuma. What you thinking about? No, something I want to ask you, actually, Ryunosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me. It sounds serious. What is... Ah, you're still here, are you? Anyways, this favor... Let's pick up this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first court victory. And your study toward the Great Burden, don't forget. Ah yes, that too. So my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma, Professor Mikotoba, Susato-san, who acted as my assistant, Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still. Oh, no, he presented the decisive piece of final evidence. It was because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. So ends the first case. And what a way to start too. Yeah, save that. Alright. Well, next time, in the next part of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, it's time for the second case. Who knows what'll happen then? I'll see you guys then. Take care, everybody.